Hey guys, if you enjoy the podcast and want to support us, please check out our Patreon and our YouTube at IMNerd Podcast. We have 3 different tiers on Patreon that you can subscribe to, and they unlock certain benefits depending on which tier you're in. So check it out, let us know what you think, and let's start the show. Welcome back to the IMNerd Podcast, guys. This is episode 15 now.
Allegedly.
Yes, episode 15, and we're going to be talking
That's actually crazy. I lose track of the episode counts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I only remember because every time I go into our editing software, I just have to keep reminding myself that eventually this is going to say 100. But right now, we're on episode 15, and we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan, which is my favorite anime. I think I said it in the Jujutsu Kaisen episode, but in the last 10 years, I think this is my favorite anime that I've seen, and it may even be my number one anime of all time if the ending is good. Currently, my number one anime of all time is Death Note, but Attack on Titan has been so fucking ridiculous with this last season, and season 3 too. I mean, season 3, it was already in my top 5 animes of all time. It cemented itself for top 5 all time for me with season 3. And I thought it couldn't get better. And then we all watched season 4, and I don't even know what the fuck I watched. That shit is just so insane to me.
Sasageo!
I love that opening.
I get so hyped. I fucking do the salute and everything.
I love it.
I pose up.
Even the season 1 opening is really good. Season 1 opening, I used to play it every time it came on. I wouldn't even skip it. And that is not like me. That is really uncharacteristic of me.
I enjoy all the openings. Sasageo is my favorite one by far, though. That one is OD. But season 4, I watched the opening and ending to every episode of season 4.
I like War a lot. That one is really good. But I also, season 4's ending, the ending theme, is so good to me, and because it's so emotional and sad. It's
really emotional, and the visual that goes along with it's really well done as well.
There's something about, I don't know, season 4 just, I guess it seems really sad because it's coming to an end, and what's happening is really dark and ominous. Dystopia coming to a collapse. It's just really good. I love the openings and endings of Attack on Titan.
My quick hater moment. This has nothing to do with actual Attack on Titan. I just don't get why they call it. I mean, I get why they called it the final season. I guess they were trying to hype people up.
Yeah.
It's not the final season.
And I don't have to hype us up.
Yeah, but here's what I don't get, right? This never made sense to me. Why is there a season 3 part 1? No, season 3 part 2 is just season 4. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's not a season 3 part 2. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing. Is that a thing that's common now in anime? Are they doing that a lot?
No, I don't. To my knowledge, that's not a thing, right? Because it was season 1, then there was 5-year gap between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And there's season 2, and then season 3. But for whatever reason, season 3 is called season 3 part 1. And then as far as I know, there is a gap, maybe a month or two, a season or two.
Right.
And there's season 3 part 2, and then there's the final season, and then we're gonna have the final season part 2. It's what are you guys doing?
So I want to say this because I noticed something started with Harry Potter way back in the day. When Harry Potter ended, the last book was cut into 2 movies.
Yeah.
And following that, the last Twilight book was cut into 2 movies. And then following that...
Are there 4 Twilight movies or 5?
There's 5.
Jesus, there's so many.
Yeah, so that was cut into 2 movies. The last, what is it called? Hunger Games. The last Hunger Games was cut into 2 movies for the last book. And I just feel like maybe the Attack on Titan director decided, I've been seeing Western culture and what they've been doing with their final season or final novels and movies. When it gets to the end and there's nothing left after this, they figure maybe it's more epic to call it part 1 and part 2. I don't know why
maybe
that's a thing, but for whatever reason, Harry Potter, I want to say Harry Potter started it because that was the first time where I know something's original content, the last book, The Deathly Hallows, was cut into 2 movies. And I'm not really mad at that because for movies purposes, I don't think you could have covered the entire last novel for Harry Potter in 1 movie.
Not possible.
So it made sense. I just feel like then Twilight and Hunger Games followed because they literally took the same spot as Harry Potter once Harry Potter was gone. They took that hype child spot thing. So I get it from that perspective. But then anime doing it like Attack on Titan, I'm not really sure why season 3 and the final season are cut into 2 parts, but they can call it whatever the fuck they want to call it. It's still some of the best.
My thing is the pacing of it's fine. Like if they try to fit all of the final season into 16 episodes or whatever, it wouldn't have been good.
It would not have been good.
My point is it should just be called season 5.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Final season, or season 4 as we call it, is season 5. Because season 3 part 2 is season 4, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is
and season 3 part 1 and part 2 have different enough content where you can call them different seasons. Because season 3 part 1 is mostly about Kenny Ackerman and stuff.
It is.
And season 3 part 2 is about retaking the wall.
Yes, they feel different. Like the tone of the second half of season 3 feels insane. But before we get like too involved,
we're just ranting.
Yes, I'm gonna get off this rant. I am Levi.
You know what's fucked up? He always gets to jump on this, right? Because the other day when we had that listener letter and they said blah 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 anime that you want to go into, not go into, and Frazier was like, "There's no way I'm going to Attack on Titan," and I was like, "You can send me there if I'm Levi." Anyway, that aside, today Levi's power is an infinity, so I can't cheat and say Levi like I did with Gojo. Who else is clean as hell that I like?
Why don't you just be?
You know what?
Or you could be Eren.
No. I'm Sasha.
You're fucking Sasha.
Sasha, yo, she's the shit. Sasha Browse is her last name, I think. Browse. Sasha like Browse is the shit. I don't care what anybody says.
So you're dead.
You ain't gotta spoil them like that.
You ain't gotta
hit them with that spoiler. Just off the rip.
First of all, if you're listening to this episode, we're about to talk about everything that happens in Attack on Titan outside of the manga.
We haven't read the manga. But everything up to what's been animated, we're going to talk about.
Yes.
But Sasha's dope. I fell in love with her ever since the fucking potato scene. She's like me. I'm hungry. She's hungry. She just wants some food. And the one part, Attack on Titan has some really touching moments, and even little things that are kind of jokes. But the part where she steals the meat and she like brings it to her friend, she's like, look, I got meat for us. And like she's talking to all her friends because like they might die and she stole some meat. Oh no, Sasha's dope.
I don't really care for that character, but we'll get into that in a second. So how did you even get into Attack on Titan? Where did you start with this anime journey? Because
I actually started with the manga.
Okay.
Before the anime came out, I used to just I think the manga site I used to use isn't even up anymore. It was one of those bad sites. I used to just go on there after getting current with Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece and everything else. After reading all of like the standard stuff, I would just go in there and look for stuff. I would scroll, I would look for stuff. I would just click a genre, look through it. And then I just stumbled across this. I literally just clicked it and started reading it, and I got sucked in. And then in reading it, I want to say I started reading it, and then 2 to 3 weeks later, I went on Crunchyroll, and episode 1 came out, and it was like complete coincidence. I was like, "What the?" Yeah, so like I didn't even know the anime was being made or anything.
Yeah,
and it's like 2 to 3. Like, I didn't see any trailers. 2 to 3 weeks after I started the manga, episode 1 got put on Crunchyroll, and I watched it. And as soon as that happened, I went and told a bunch of my friends, like, "Hey, you guys have to watch this new anime that just came out. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Attack on Titan." And at the time, obviously, I didn't know how popular it was going to become, but I was like, "You guys have to watch Attack on Titan. This shit is sick. I've read the manga, et cetera, et cetera."
Yeah, so I got caught in the web of the internet just talking about it too much, season 1. Mm-hmm. So season 1, by the time I started watching Attack on Titan, it was already up to episode like 17 or 18. So it's pretty deep in. And everyone was saying, "Oh my God, you have to watch Attack on Titan." The same thing they're doing right now with Tokyo Revengers, the same thing they were doing with JJK, same thing with Demon Slayer, etc. When there's a really good anime out there, people tend to talk about it.
It was One Punch Man too. I love One Punch Man, but I remember people were saying One Punch Man's like the best anime ever. I was like, I love it. Y'all gotta stop.
Yeah,
like, it's not the best anime ever.
But yeah, so I got caught in the maelstrom of that, and so I started watching it, and I watched episode 1, and immediately I was like, "Holy fuck, that was nuts!" Episode 1 is really boring at first. It's just like people living inside of this wall. And then Eren's mom gets eaten at the end of it. Like the fucking Titans break down the wall after they tell you that the Titans have never breached a wall in 100 years. And then obviously they breached the wall, episode 1. His mom gets eaten, and it's this whole thing where in my head, as I was watching it, right, I was thinking to myself, as the Titan lift his mom out of the debris, There's no fucking way this kid's mom is about to be eaten while he's watching it happen. There's no way that's what's about to happen.
You know what the best part of that episode is? What you're talking about right there. And then the guy,
Hannes,
and he comes up and he's like, oh, I have to.
You think he's about to save her? I was like, oh, thank God.
Out, and then he fucking puts them away. Like he goes.
I literally said to myself, oh, thank God, someone's gonna save Erin's mom. Like there's no world where she gets eaten, and he runs away, and I couldn't believe. And then she gets eaten. I couldn't believe it, and that's the end of it. Like, that is the end of the first episode. Though.
That's something I like. It's so real.
Yeah,
like he didn't go out. Didn't be a hero. Like he was human. Like he put the fucking swords away. He turned around, grabbed the kid, and just ran. Attack
on Titan is a little too real for me. Like it's the reason why when we were asked the question a couple episodes ago about which world would you want to live in, I immediately said I know which ones I don't want to live in because this world is fucked. I am terrified of flesh Gundams. I do not like the way they look. I don't like the fact that they want to eat you for no reason. I don't like that. I don't like something that wants to eat me and doesn't need sustenance. It's just kind of like, I want to kill you. Like the idea of that freaks me out. It also scares me how big they are and how silly they look. Sometimes they're smiling. Sometimes they look bashful. I remember the one that was leaning. He was used for a meme a lot, but he's like leaning up against the house and he's like staring at somebody on the roof, but he's like leaning. And it's like, hey girl, can I get your number or something like that? Like people use that for a lot of memes. I just really don't like the way they look at all. They creep me out.
Yeah, so they're ridiculous. They're damn near invincible until they learn how to kill them. But...
Yeah, like Titans are not easy to kill, and for the humans that exist in this world, they're really difficult to kill until the final season when they develop like crazy technology that's able to do it. But before then, when the story starts, it's really bad.
In season 1, in episode 1, you learn about the 3 main regiments of the military. The main one that we follow for most of the series being the Survey Corps. But the Survey Corps, like they go out, and every time they go out, they return with half the numbers. Like they lose bodies on bodies. Like they go out, and it's sometimes it's rare for them to even bring your body back. Like your mom will be crying, and like they'll fucking hand the mom his foot. Like, oh, this is all we could save of him.
His foot. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that whole world. But here's the thing, though. The reason why I have Attack on Titan rated so high is because I love dystopias. I love all stories that are really dark like this, where everyone's living in this world that's absolutely just destroyed in some way. Humanity is behind a wall, or in Hunger Games, humanity's living in these districts. I love that stuff. Like The Walking Dead, that verse, I really like that. I enjoy dystopias, and this is like a really cool take on a dystopia. Or it's kind of interesting because on one hand, it is a dystopia, right? But it's not actually, you find out later, because only they're living like this. The rest of the world is just living normal.
The rest of the world is living normal world. They're living normal our world, pretty much.
Which is crazy.
Than the fact that one country also has Titan weapons. But other than that, like they're just living normal.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. But okay, so we're not going to do a real recap or anything like that, because you guys have definitely seen Attack on Titan enough to know
we're just going to hit on...
But, we're just going to talk about certain stuff. But
I'm going to be recapping some things that maybe, I don't know. I'm going to
we'll definitely talk. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. So season 1, I guess the main thing is, for me, the apex of the first season is Eren's mom being eaten, but then he joins the Survey Corps, trains, time skip happens, and then they're trying to protect him because they found out that he's a Titan. And him being a Titan is a big deal because they've never seen anything like this. They've never seen a human being who has the ability to transform into a Titan.
Yep.
And I guess it was a really shocking moment in episode 5, or I think it's episode 5, when Eren, it looks like he dies.
Yes.
That was a gag. Like that shit, when I first watched Attack on Titan, was a gag. I was not ready for that at all. When he got eaten, I was like, again, the same thought. There's no way this character I've been following for 5 episodes is about to be eaten after he just trained and did all of that shit on that, that balancing thing they had them on where they're flipping upside down and all that.
Man, the way they set it up. I know people that stopped the series because of that, though. I know people that stopped the series because like Eren died, and they're like, holy shit, this is the best anime ever made.
Yeah.
But then in the following episode, when Eren turned into a Titan, they were like, this shit sucks.
So
a lot of people were turned off by that.
I can understand that, because it's kind of how I feel about JJK, where the main character dies, like Yuji dies, and then he comes back like 2 episodes, not even 2 episodes later, I don't think. But he comes back pretty quick. I thought the same. I was kind of like, it's kind of cheesy. But when he died, when he quote unquote died, I spent the rest of that episode thinking to myself, or like the rest of that day, thinking to myself who the main character was. And I started to say to myself, is it really Mikasa? And then I was like, no, it can't be her. It must be Armin. And I kept going back and forth, like, wait, these two characters, they don't seem like main characters. So I kept going back and forth, like, there's no way Mikasa's the main character now, even though, she's pretty cool. I was like, I don't see her as the main character. Like, come on. And then Armin, I was like, no, just no. So I thought for a second, like, wow, this is one of those anime, because I've seen a couple anime where the main character dies, even if they don't die that early. Yagami Light dies in Bleach. I mean, not whew. Yagami Light dies in Death Note.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, those funny ass pictures where it'll be like Goku, he has a Rasengan in one hand, he has the Millennium Puzzle on his neck, he has fucking the Infinity Stones around him.
Goku from Sailor Moon.
Yeah,
he uses the Egyptian god card to defeat Madara Uchiha. Like,
he has fucking Aizen sword on his waist. I just pulled one of those. He has the Sharingan in one eye.
Oh man.
No, but Yagami Light dies in Death Note, and Kogias, the Lelouch at the end of it, he dies, right?
I saw an anime. This is super niche. I think most people haven't seen it. I only saw it because of our good buddy Xavier. This was years ago. It's an anime called Ga-Rei Zero. And episode 1 of Ga-Rei Zero introduces a whole cast of characters that you follow throughout all of episode 1, and the entire cast, and they're set up like these are the cast. The entire cast gets murdered at the end of episode 1, and episode 2 is just a new cast. And then the rest of the anime, the rest of the 12 episodes, follows the new cast. I was like, what the?
That's some shit.
They set me up good. That I don't know, it was a good watch. I watched the whole series. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it. But the big reason why I watched the whole thing is because they really set me up. Like they introduced me to a whole. They were like, oh, this is whoever. This is this guy's amazing.
And you're trying to figure out which one you like the most.
And they get
this is going to be my character.
Yeah, they just get murdered at the end of episode 1.
That's great. Same thing with like Bokurano, those kids.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of anime because Kenny and I are degenerates. So we've seen a lot of anime where the main character actually does die, or they die. So I wasn't too surprised as far as, oh wow. It just was more so, damn, we're only 5 episodes in. Who's the main character now? And then come to find out, he lives. He's a Titan. As soon as I saw that Titan come out of nowhere and sucker punch the other Titan, I knew it was Eren.
Same.
I don't think anybody, maybe no one was shocked by that. Wasn't shocked by it. Kind of cliche, but you knew where it was going. And then they start getting into the whole real meat of the season, which is the female Titan. Now,
that's the thing with Mito, real quick. Even though they did the, you could say cliche, like Eren has a Titan in him, whatever.
Yeah.
What I liked is from there, when they got into the real meat of the story and really started getting into some of the mystery and all this other stuff, it got really interesting. Because then it becomes like, okay, a lot of these Titans are random, but some of these Titans have to be humans, right? And then when you figure out that Eren is located in the nape, because before you find out Eren is located in the nape of the neck, you find out that the only way to kill Titans is to hit the nape of the neck, not the heart, not the brain. For whatever reason, they don't kill Titans; they can regenerate. But if you cut the nape, you kill them. And then, however many episodes later, you find out Eren in his Titan form exists in the nape of the neck, and that makes you go, "Wait, so then are all the Titans actually humans?" And it just gets your brain going. And
yes, it does pose a bunch of questions.
Yeah, as the story goes, so that swerve, that cliche moment, ends up doing a lot for the story, and it's not just a cliche moment for the sake of a cliche moment. So
it's good. It's actually pretty well done. So then, they know he's a Titan now, and there's this whole plan to use him, and that whole thing. They encountered a female Titan, which I think is where Attack on Titan really started to cement itself as something epic. Because again, you've been introduced to these characters for, I want to say, around 14 episodes by now, before she comes in. And she comes in hot.
Yes, she does.
She comes in running fast as shit. And you can immediately tell, first of all, Titans running like that, outside of abnormals, you don't really see that. They made a note of it.
She was running like a whole athlete.
Yes, like a person, with a conscience that had a goal. So that freaked me out because ever since you see Eren be a Titan, you know that there's other ones. You just, obviously, there's more than just Eren in this world, right?
Yep.
So when you see her running up, it is fucking terrifying. Not to mention, she looks scary to me. Something about the female Titan just looks scary. And maybe I think I might just be afraid of Titans in general.
You are.
Because I'm going to bring this up again.
With good reason, though. Like, it's not like, it's like, oh, you're a bitch, Frazier. It's like, no, dog, do you see these things?
Yeah, so when it starts running up and the rest of the characters are on horseback, she just starts killing them. She just
that's something they mentioned, too, and that's another thing that makes them scary. Almost all Titans, or all Titans, really, they kill you for fun, but they also eat you.
They always eat you.
They don't just kill you, they eat you for fun. They're not doing it for food, but they eat you.
Like, they swallow your blood.
And she just was smacking people.
She was just fucking killing people. At one point,
then, the part where she has the one dude, she has like his wire and she's walking, and she's just twirling him.
And
like
the director of the anime slowed that scene down. Like, I love that part. And she lets it go. She just lets it go. It is one of the scariest fucking things I've ever seen. And my heart was beating so fast when I saw that, because the characters that you're seeing dying, you actually know them.
Yeah.
And she's like offing them one by one. She kicked one of them was on horseback, and she kicked him into the air so high that you just knew he was dead. They didn't show him fall.
Yeah.
She just kicked him so hard. Mind you, the horse too. Like, the horse and him went so high that you were like, holy shit, he's dead.
He was probably dead from the kick.
Yes.
But if not, he was dead from how fast he went up. And if not, he was dead because of how high he went up. And on his way down, he was dead. Like,
it was so violent. It was so violent. And I wasn't expecting the anime to get that level of violence when it comes to, I guess, people who are trying to fight back. Yeah, like, I just didn't think, like, I've seen Aaron's mom get killed episode 1, and I was like, okay, it's his mom. You only knew her for all of 14 minutes. Yeah. So I was like, it's not that crazy. But now you're introducing me to characters that I do know a bit.
Dude, they settle you in. They go and they do all the experiments on Aaron. They're doing shit with him, and then he ends up being part of the Levi Corps. Yeah. And you get introduced to the whole Levi Corps. All these people, they have names, they have backstories, relationships, and like, you really get to really know these characters. They're touted as like the elite squadron of the Survey Corps. They're part of Levi, and
they're just getting bodied.
They get wiped out. Like, all of them get wiped out.
Getting bodied. It is so crazy. And then the other part that got me was when they were in, this all starts before they get to the Forest of Death, I'll just call it. I'm just going to call it the Forest of Death, because that's what the fuck it was. So by the time they get into the forest, there's another part where they think they have a good plan against her. And so, like, 3 of them say, we're going to fall back. And Aaron, you go forward. We can't afford, like, you are the mission. So we can't have you get captured. So they try to, like, fight her. And she tackles one of them against the tree.
Yep. And she's boom. Like,
it's just, again, this is a character who you know. Like, this is a character who you actually, at this time, like, Aaron spoke to.
He gets swatted like a fly. Like,
he gets literally tackled against a tree, and it is one of the most brutal deaths. Then she kicks the one girl, like, literally kicks the girl into a tree, and the girl's back breaks. So when you see her again, her spine is literally bent into her stomach. Like, she's basically bent backwards on the tree. She got kicked that hard in her back. It looks crazy. And I read the manga up to season 3, the first half of season 3. So I stopped reading the manga at that point. But even in the manga, it's so brutal. And I've never seen anything like Attack on Titan's brutality. It is crazy to see humans being eaten, but then humans just being brutalized like this. Crazy.
And it like you said, it really is. It's all these named characters. That's one of the things that really, I think, drew people into Attack on Titan. It's just the fact that it just felt real. It felt like anybody could die.
Yes, the stakes are real. The stakes are so high in Attack on Titan. I think that's why I like it so much, is because when I'm watching it, I don't really feel like anyone is safe, outside of maybe Eren. But everyone else, and I do meet everyone that is not Eren Yeager, and I don't even know if he's safe at the end. But let's just say, for now, no one outside of him in my mind is actually safe. I don't think Mikasa, Levi, Armin, anyone. In fact, I already thought Armin died. So, like, I literally think they will kill anyone. It's kind of like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is similar to Game of Thrones in that way. It's not just you, it's not just me. A lot of people have compared Attack on Titan to Game of Thrones. I have a very specific thing that we'll get to in a little bit, but there's a part of, we'll get to it, but there's a part of Attack on Titan that I think is very comparative with Game of Thrones, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
But the female Titan season 1 is just one of the most absurd things. And this came out around 2013, the 2012, 2013 era. And season 2 didn't air for years. So all we had was season 1 for a very, very long time. And
I didn't think season 2 was ever going to come out.
Me either.
Every year you would hear people say, "Oh, Attack on Titan season 2 is coming out this year." It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember believing it for a while too. And then it got to a point where I just thought it was vaporware. Like I thought it was basically Kingdom Hearts 3. That shit's never coming out. People just always say every year, "Oh, did you hear the new news about Attack on Titan?" And like it never came out. Every year it would just go by, and I don't know what was holding it up. I have no idea why it took so long, but I'm glad.
Me neither, because it was a smash hit.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that it did come back. But yeah, at one point I just kind of stopped caring about it, and I do want to acknowledge this. So the gap between season 1 of Attack on Titan and season 2 is so large that a lot of the fan base completely stopped watching it.
Yep.
I remember when season 2 came back. Yes, I remember when season 2 came back, and I remember when season 3 came out. A lot of people just didn't care anymore. They were like, I don't know, whatever. Like, I watched season 1 5 years ago, and now season 2 and season 3 are like, whatever. Like, people just didn't care. And I felt bad because I'm like, this story is really good, but because of the extreme gap in between it, like, no one wanted to really go back to it at first. And then
a good friend of ours just recently finally finished Attack on Titan because we were like, hey, we're probably going to do Attack on Titan episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. And he finally got back to watching it because same thing. He watched it when it first came out. He loved it, but there was so much time in between. He was like, whatever.
Yeah,
but he finally got back and finished what's out.
Actually, real quick, I'm going to just Google, holy shit. Season 2 of Attack on Titan came out in 2017, it looks like. And season 1 is like 2013. So there's a 4-year gap in between. Attack on Titan has a 4 to 5 year gap in between seasons. That is absurd. I mean, that's basically like watching all of the Naruto filler for years. Like, that's essentially what it is. And no one wants to do that. But
damn. Frazier just called all of the anime that came out between season 1 and 2 filler. He just said
there was a ton of great anime that came out between those times. But what I'm saying is a 5-year wait. I'm surprised that we even watched Shippuden is all I'm going to say. I'm surprised that anyone even watched Shippuden with the amount of filler that happened between fucking the first Naruto series and Shippuden, because there's literally hundreds of episodes of filler.
It's not good. But yeah, dude, the female Titan and then the mystery. That's the thing. So Attack on Titan was a dystopian society, but it was also so entrenched in mystery. Here's something that you said you like, The Walking Dead. And something I don't like about The Walking Dead and don't like about a lot of zombie things is that they almost never get down to the mystery.
Yeah.
They never cover what started the zombie outbreak, blah, blah, blah. Like, they never really get into the mystery. It just stays about the drama, about humans and whatever. Whereas Attack on Titan really dives into that mystery. And when you have these Titans showing up that you're assuming are actual humans that are plotting, and they have this different setup, so we know Armin is able to figure out the female Titan is Annie based on the way she was acting and various other factors. He's able to figure out the female Titan was Annie. And
real quick, before you go further, I do want to say, so I think that was one of the coolest things. They realized who the female Titan was. One of the things that she has in common with actual Annie is the stance she does, that Muay Thai like stance.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just so fucking cool. When the last few episodes of the season 1, they reveal who it is. They actually show her waking up in her bed. After all the events that happened before to death, they show Annie waking up. The episode just starts off with Annie waking up. And you probably know at that point, but maybe there's still like a delay before you realize.
You do like a whole episode of you just following her day, right?
Yes, you're kind of just following Annie for a while. Yeah. You're kind of just following her. And if you stare at her for too long, you'll see it. Like the blonde hair. Then you start thinking about the way she fought in the training exercises, and then you realize how she fought Eren in the forest, and it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And we can't forget the most epic moment of season 1 probably is fucking Levi against the female Titan when, what is he, behind her? And he's pursuing her, and she's running, but she kind of is like looking back every once in a while just to like see what he's up to. And he's just kind of like going from left to right, just like, the second she decides to turn around and swing, he's like, you done fucked up. And he just like that Beyblade move that he has. He fucking Beyblades down her arm and slices her up. That's when you realize, like, holy shit, Levi is actually
the truth.
Insane.
He's Superman, yo. He is the fucking truth.
In that verse, he is God tier. I can't believe they put a character like that. Like, he's so insane.
You need him, okay?
You do. You do need people like him. He's so broken, and everyone who watches Attack on Titan obviously talks about Levi a lot. I think he's fantastic because he is still human, and even in that moment where he does beat Annie really quickly, Mikasa jumps in thinking that she can kill Annie, and it actually gets Levi hurt.
Yeah.
His leg, I think his leg gets fucked up. He like
and Mikasa's, second place, right? Like she's the second best after Levi.
Yep. She jumps in thinking that she can actually get the kill, and she fucks up. And Levi knows it too. The second she takes an action, he's like, no. And then it's too late. And he almost kills her. And then he comes, saves the day, of course. But he does suffer an injury, which is good because you need to always find a way to nerf your overpowered characters, like your Gojos. You have to. They're so strong.
Sometimes you got to just make a barrier that keeps just him out.
Yeah, you have to nerf your OP characters. So we've seen this in every single anime ever. Just the OP character getting nerfed.
Yep. Speaking of, I want to jump back, but jump forward real quick on this note. In season 4, they have like a whole plan on how to deal with the Titans, and then they have a plan to deal with Levi. Like the enemy has a plan. Like, no, listen, Levi is a problem.
Just him.
You have to pay because they warned because Reiner and Bertolt warned the Beast Titan in season 3. Like, listen,
there's only one person. They tell him that there's only one
but
person.
Levi, yeah, and then the Beast Titan's like whatever, and then
he clearly shrugs it off because he didn't learn his fucking lesson. But yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
And I was going to say, going back to the mystery of season 1, something I love so much about it. Season 1 ends with you not knowing the identity of the Colossal and the Armored Titan.
Yep.
You don't know the identity of them. But in season 2, I feel like it's episode 3. Like it's super early in season 2. Reiner just looks at him and he goes, "Eren, I'm the Armored Titan," or something like. You know what I mean? Like
it's pretty early. I will say this. So the mystery of Attack on Titan is one of the things that makes it so good.
Yes.
Season 1, you don't know who the Colossal and the Armored Titan are yet. And why that is a big deal is because those are the ones who are responsible for knocking down a wall, getting Eren's mom killed, getting him to decide that he wants to be in the Survey Corps and kill every Titan in the world, which is like his dream. But you don't know who the main culprits are. You also don't know how people, and only specific people, are Titans.
Yeah, why? Like, what makes certain people Titans? Also, they set up the whole sort of Schrodinger's box type of thing with the basement.
Yes.
Where Eren has this key to this basement. So that there's also answers in that basement.
Titans on the wall at the end of season 1.
And then, I was going, dude, but oh my God. When you get to the end of season 1 where the fucking wall cracks and you just see a Colossal Titan in the wall.
It's very
and then
weird.
Your brain goes, holy shit. Like, how else would they build they built the walls using the bodies of Titans. So there's Titans in all of the walls. What the fuck does that mean going forward? And then
it's kind of wild.
When you find out, I remember the gap, the 4 to 5 year gap between season 1 and 2, everybody making theories about who the Colossal and Armor Titan is. And a lot of the theories, before it was confirmed, started to point toward not Reinhardt. Is that his name? Reiner, not Reinhardt.
Reiner, yeah.
Reiner and Bertolt. Because if you go and look, they're in every scene with Annie. And every single scene, it's Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt just like together. Like on the part where Eren is trying to retake the one wall and put the boulder in the hole.
Yeah.
There's a part where it's just like Reiner, Annie, and Bertolt all hanging out together.
That. Is that true?
100% true. Because I went back and checked. There's a bunch of scenes where it's just like those 3 together hanging out and talking and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And then even in, I think, season 3 or season 4, there's a flashback to a scene in season 1, but they show it from another angle.
They do.
So you see that scene, but they show it from another angle.
I love that a lot of the things that you see early on make sense way later.
Oh,
and
it doesn't.
It gives me that One Piece feel. It definitely gives me One Piece vibes where something that could have happened 100 chapters ago, a lot longer in One Piece, but something that could have happened 100 chapters ago gets a resolution or a tie back to something else that happens later on. It's just really cool how he links things together, the writer of Attack on Titan.
When I watch or read Attack on Titan, at no point do I go, oh, he's making shit up.
Yeah.
It feels like everything's been planned and he has been thinking about what he's doing and it's not random.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I feel like it's a very well thought out story, at least right now. I still don't know how it ends, but I think it is over.
Yeah, the manga's over. But even so, have you heard like the 2,000 years theory?
I did. 2U in 2,000 years.
So, like, chapter 1, I remember reading this and getting so hyped. I was talking to one of my friends about this. This was now years ago. This was after season 3, but before season 4, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe. But I remember I started to reread the manga because I was like, all right, I want to reread the manga up to where season 3 is, but I don't want to go past season 3 because I want to watch the anime, etc. But rereading it, and I go, man, what the fuck? And then the name of the chapter is like 2U 2,000 years ago or 2,000 years in the future. It's like something like that, like 2U 2,000 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pull it up because I have it pulled up. Somebody did like.
That shit blew my mind when I read it.
And yeah, I remember reading that because then you find out about like the potential, not really time travel, but at the end of season 3, there's the part where, 17 years ago, it's like in the past, it's Aaron's dad. Aaron's not even born yet, and Aaron's dad's talking to the other guy, and they say like you have to save Mikasa and Armin, and it's like
I still think that is the biggest mystery to me. I don't understand that scene that happened in the past. They aren't even born yet. Aaron's not even born yet, and he's saying I have to save Armin and Mikasa. That like I don't know what kind of show Attack on Titan is anymore.
Yeah, it's really because at first it was like a dystopian mystery, but now
with a linear timeline.
Yes, but then it becomes like, oddly enough, I don't know if sci-fi is the right word.
More like Game of Thrones, though, right? Because Hold the Door made Game of Thrones not a linear timeline.
Yeah,
it made it where people can go and affect the past, which is the reason why things are the way they are in the present. So, like, Bran warging into Hodor is literally the reason why he is Hodor. Like,
it's pretty
like,
nuts.
what came first? Like, it's very interesting because Bran doesn't even make it to where he is if Hodor doesn't exist in the first place to get him there.
Yeah, it creates a weird paradox.
And so I feel like with Attack on Titan, when Gracia Yeager says, I have to save Armin and Mikasa, I'm like, what the fuck? You do have a son, but you don't have Eren as a son yet.
Yeah, he's not even born yet.
And so if Eren's not born, then obviously Mikasa and Armin aren't born either. That is one of the biggest.
It's really weird. And
they
then
haven't gone back to that yet, but go ahead.
So something that's cool, I remember reading this years ago. This is a post on Reddit from 4 years ago, and I don't remember if this is the original post I read. I remember just going through it and just being really entrenched in this, and because I was trying to figure it out on my own, and then in me trying to figure it out, I was like, okay, and I had like my own theories, and I went to Google if other people thought what I thought, and I found other things. So I'm just going to like read this real quick, but what's cool about Attack on Titan is that we know that they die after getting the Titan powers after what, 17 years or 13 years?
13 years.
13 years.
Yep.
So after getting the Titan power, you die in 13 years. And they also give all of the dates. So this is the quick thing. They say, like, many have speculated that the time of Ymir Fritz acquired the Titan powers to the time when Eren is supposed to die is exactly 2,000 years. 145 kings times 13 years of shifter aids equals 1,885 years. So there's been 145 kings. If they all only live for 13 years because of the shifter, because of the Titan DNA, then that adds up to 1,885. And then it's been 185 plus 102 years since the walls were created. That equals 1987, the year RBA breached Wall Maria and Eren got his Titan powers. Year 845 in terms of the show. And then 1987 plus 13 equals 2000, which would be, so 1987 would be when Eren got his powers, plus 13 would be 2000 years since the first, and that would be when Eren dies.
Yep. So 2U 2000 years ago.
Yeah. It's just weird because like the number 2000, and then it's highly speculated that Eren is supposed to die 2000 years since Ymir, like
and that's the title of episode 1, right? Like that
the
is
title of episode 1, or the chat or chapter 1, I believe, is 2U 2000 years ago.
I'm going to look it up real quick okay. The title of the first chapter of Attack on Titan is called 2U 2000 years from now.
Yeah.
So
that's
pretty wild.
That's according to the math, like that's Eren. And what's funny is that a lot of times when people get all like, oh, but if you do the math, usually it's bullshit, but in this, I don't think it's bullshit.
No, I don't think so either. It lines up way too perfectly. 145 kings, 13 years each. You do the math and it comes out exactly right to 2000. It's like in episode 1, and the chapter 1 is called 2U 2000 years from now. It's a mind-blowing theory.
And then on top, and then you go all the way to like some weird evidence of either time travel or like memory travel.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily, yeah, right, because I don't know if it's necessarily time travel, but there is something about memories being passed down from person
Yeah,
to person.
you acquire, but that's the thing. That's what makes the Grisha Jaeger moment so interesting, is because as far as we know, you get memories from the previous people that inherited your Titan, right? When you get the Titan, you acquire their memories. Like over time, Eren got Grisha Jaeger's memories and other people's
Yep.
memories. However, in the case where Grisha talks about Mikasa and Armin, that's him having memories from the future, which up until that point was unheard of
Yeah.
that we know of.
Yeah. So that was a big, I don't know, I guess reveal at the end of season 3. Season 3 is insane. In fact,
Yes.
season 3 is so insane that at the episode Hero, where Erwin like charges the Beast Titan, that episode of Attack on Titan is considered the best episode of all television. Like on
Yep.
IMDb, if you look at the highest rated show of all time by episode, the episode Hero of Attack on Titan is literally considered the number one show, period. Like that is the number one episode of all TV on IMDb.
And
And
for
then
good
like,
reason.
yes, it
When I
is.
watched that episode, when I tell you, I'm pretty sure I broke a part of my bed frame because I was on my bed watching it, and when certain thing, I was like fucking smacking shit, like I was popping off,
Yeah,
losing my mind.
oh, so good.
So
So you were talking about how early on in season 2, Reiner and Berthold announced that they are the Colossal and Armor Titan,
yep.
and to me, that is one of the most iconic Attack on Titan moments. It is peak epicness because the shift in music, the way Mikasa responds when she realizes that that shit is true. Like she immediately is like, Eren, get away. Basically, like she tries to kill Reiner immediately.
Yeah. And the Colossal just boom, just appears.
Yep. The music that they play when Eren finds out and like this is all happening, I played that YouTube clip 100 times one day. I watched Reiner telling Eren that I'm the fucking Armor Titan 100 times because of how epic that music is. Like, I wish we could play music on this podcast without getting whatever that damn annoying ass law is. But that shit, oh my god, it is still like one of my top 5 moments in all of anime. Just them announcing who they are and the way Eren starts like crying and everything. And as Reiner grabs him and starts sliding down the wall, like trying to kidnap Eren, and he's like, I can't believe this is real. Like, Reiner, why? And he's just fucking emotional. And then he's thinking of all these flashbacks that he had with them, and then he fucking transforms because he's so mad.
Dude,
I love it.
So much. And then I'm pretty sure it's episode 1 of season 2 that you see the Beast Titan, right?
Yes. Oh my god.
Dude, that is fucking terrifying.
Yes.
The Beast Titan. So you already have the Colossal Titan, Armor Titan, blah, 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 all this other shit.
You're scared of them. You don't even
like,
need anything else.
All that stuff. The Beast Titan was also just another level of scary because when you see him, because at that point, you've never heard a Titan talk, even though. Also, okay, so the Beast Titan you see before learning for sure that Reiner and Berthold are the Titans. We do know Annie is a Titan, but we never heard Annie talk. But also, like, that's a character that we know, whatever. When you see the Beast Titan and he just starts talking, like, it was just so creepy. The way they showed him talk and the way he just, like, killed people. Oh, my fucking God.
I often talk about this to my friends, especially when I first saw it. But I said that season 2, episode 1 of Attack on Titan is probably one of the scariest episodes of anime I've ever seen because they used the number 2 guy as a way to show how powerful the Beast Titan is. It's kind of the same way I feel about Jiraiya and Pain, where they have to use a strong character to show how powerful another person is. So
yeah, the guy that died was Levi's like second in
yes, he was the second strongest guy in the entire show at the time. Like he is the second best fighter they have. They also show him soloing I think he soloed like 6 Titans by himself. So he's really, really good at killing Titans. He's one of the best. I wouldn't say he's on Levi's level, clearly, but he's the second best, which probably is a big drop, but whatever. He's really good. And in the same episode, he gets trapped on a roof and he's surrounded by Titans. And he's like, oh, great. There's a horse. I can like whistle for the horse and I can go. And then you see the fucking Beast Titan and it grabs the horse and it throws it at him. Like it makes a conscious decision to grab the horse and throw it at the human who's on the waiting, he whistled to it, and he was waiting to get the horse, and he made a conscious decision to throw it at him. The guy dodges out the way, but when he dodges out the way, his fucking leg gets messed up. He falls to the ground, and all the Titans, obviously, they start running over to him, about to eat him. And the Beast Titan tells them to stop. He speaks and says stop, and all of them stop except one. And the one that doesn't stop, he fucking basically kills it. He hits it so hard that it basically dies. And so now the guy is in a way saved, right? Because now he's not being eaten anymore. And the Beast Titan kind of starts to analyze him and says I've never seen that. What do you call that whole maneuver gear that you have on? He says in so many words, what is that?
So scary.
And at this point, like you said, we haven't heard a Titan speak yet. Not even Eren or Annie. So we know that there are human Titans, but you've never heard one actually speak. And so the guy is on the ground terrified. He can't speak. He's literally in shock. He doesn't say a single thing. And he was like, that's odd. I thought we spoke the same language.
Oh my God. It's fucking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Then he reaches down, he grabs his 3D maneuver gear, he stares at it, then he says, oh well, he turns around, starts walking away, says something about I'm gonna take this back. So that's another one of those mystery things where what is he going back to? Where is he taking this to be analyzed, to be studied? Because he's clearly not going anywhere in the wall. There's clearly somewhere else that he's talking about, but at the time you don't know. He starts walking away, and as he's walking away, I'm like, all right, well, those Titans still aren't doing anything. And then he kind of just looks back and says, oh yeah, kill him. And they all just start eating this man. And it is horror movie level, because the way he's like, no, please don't. And he finally starts screaming, and the fucking Beast Titan is so mean. He's like, so you could speak. Once the guy starts screaming for his fucking life, he's like, oh, okay, so you actually could talk. I knew it. And it's just one of those asshole moments. It's just
you and me. We've talked about anime shit talk, but that's something that I don't know. I think people that don't like anime, maybe it's something that they don't like about it. But that's something that just anime does so well. Normal so TV shows, they don't do enough shit talk. Not the way anime does shit talk.
I think that's why people like Game of Thrones so much. Because if you think about it,
Game of Thrones has some shit talk.
A lot of Game of Thrones is shit talk, right? When Littlefinger goes up to Cersei and he's like, knowledge is power, and she does that whole power is power scene.
Yep.
That's that whole thing is shit talk. It's just
that is all shit talk.
And every time Daenerys introduces herself, it's just shit talk. It's just a lot.
There's not enough of it in other shows, but that episode though, and I think it's the next couple episodes. I think it's after the Beast Titan leaves, and then a bunch of the Survey Corps and the people that we know, Reiner, who at the time we don't know is evil, or not evil, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But they're all locked. They're out of fuel. They're locked in that random building, and they're getting rations. And there's Titans in the basement and shit.
Yeah.
And they have a whole plan they're doing. And then there's a part where Ymir reads a canned food that nobody else can read. And Reiner notices, and he's like, "How can you read that?" And then Ymir is like, "Oh shit!" And that's another hint. But a lot of people at the time didn't even realize oh, that means Ymir and Reiner are fucking Titans.
Right.
But they read something that nobody else was able to read the language of.
Yeah, there's definitely hints, and I'm going to probably keep comparing this show to Game of Thrones the more we talk about it, because I'm realizing it as we're speaking.
Yes, they're very similar.
They're so similar, because that's another Game of Thrones thing. It's the more you watch Attack on Titan, the better it gets. Yeah. The more you go back, so now we're 4 seasons in or whatever. If you go back and watch it from season 1, episode 1, you will then start to notice things that make sense now that didn't make sense then.
If you rewatch what
you just said,
I think whenever, as far as I know, it's supposed to come out in January. Season 4 part 2, or the final season part 2 of Attack on Titan is supposed to come out in January. If you haven't watched Attack on Titan, or even if you have watched Attack on Titan, before the final season comes out, rewatch it all. Yeah, just rewatch it all. Yeah. Just like how me and Frazier, before every season of Game of Thrones, rewatched all of Game of Thrones. Trust me, just rewatch it all, because you're going to see something that you didn't see before, and you're going to go, holy shit.
And it just makes the show that much better. I love doing that with shows that you can actually do it with. When you go back and watch it, it just ages well. It makes it age well. It makes things make more sense, that you kind of were like, this, what the fuck is this? There's hints all over Game of Thrones and Attack on Titan on certain things that I love.
On that note, because we talked about it a bunch of time, and you already mentioned the episode Hero. one of our friends, I remember he was kind of done with Attack on Titan, and I remember it was Thanksgiving after season 3 part 2 had ended. It was me and Gary. We were at our friend Ant's house for Thanksgiving, whatever. And I was sitting there and I was talking to him. I was like, Gary, and I basically convinced him, you have to go through all of Attack on Titan.
Right.
He was like, oh, whatever, I'm not really in the mood. I was like, I don't want to hear it. And I sat down and we basically watched all of Attack on Titan that weekend. And all that to say is, when I was talking to him and saying stuff to him, the episode Hero is the long night done right. It is, or basically all of season 3, part 2. It is what the long night of Game of Thrones was supposed to be. The entire show of Game of Thrones built up. White Walkers in episode 1. The whole show builds up with these White Walkers. All of these things happen, etc., etc. The long night is the culmination of this. The Night King is there. There's like, this is where the culmination of everything we've built for and everything we fought for has come to the long night. And the long night ultimately, although it has some good scenes, good shots, great score, ultimately ends, in my opinion, in a very disappointing way and does not deliver. Whereas season 3, part 2, and specifically Hero, does the exact same thing. The entire story builds up to these Titans. There's a mystery behind them. We build up to this this battle with the Titans to retake the wall. And then you have the Beast Titan, who's basically the Night King. You've got like all these Titans. You got like 12 Titans surrounding him, where the Night King had like the 12 randos surrounding him. You had all of this stuff, and it just, they feel like the same thing. The Long Night and like Hero.
And the stakes are literally, if you lose this, it's over.
Yes.
The stakes are high.
It just feels like the same thing. But when I watched Hero, specifically that episode and just that whole season, I was fucking satisfied, loving it, popping off hype the entire time through.
I fucking screamed.
Oh my God, it's done so fucking well. I remember the cool thing about the episode Hero is that I don't think double entendre is the right use of the word here, but it's like a double meaning, because that's the episode where Armin dies. But before Armin dies, they have the big hype shit with Levi. That's where Erwin gives up on his dream. Erwin charges with the whole group of soldiers.
And he says that you're about to send all of those men to their deaths. Like, you're going to lie to them, basically.
And they fucking charge. And Erwin knows he's going to die. And in that moment is like the true kind of spirit of being a hero, that Erwin knows he's going to die and he charges forward for the future of humanity. And so Erwin's a hero. But then Levi is like the hero. Levi's a superhero because he goes and he fucking murders every Titan there, and he destroys the Beast Titan. And so it's like Levi's a hero, but then it's Armin sacrifices.
Armin is also a hero doing the sacrifice that he did.
A hero because he sacrifices on the Colossal Titan. And so each moment, there's like very key moments in that episode, and there's not one hero. That episode, there's multiple heroes, and they all do such heroic things and have such sacrifice, and it's written so beautiful. It's so goddamn good.
Yeah, like, that is one of the best episodes of anime, period. For me, it's only in competition with one other episode of anime that I've ever seen, and that is from an anime called Death Parade. Death Parade episode 11 is the best episode of anime I have ever seen.
I definitely got to finish Death Parade. We're going to end up doing that Death Parade episode.
It's a very specific, I cry when I watch it. Like, the first time I watched it, I cried. And I mean, I feel the same way about like Hero, and some of the other episodes of Attack on Titan are just so epic that I get not like cry boo-hoo, but I get so emotional about it that I literally start to tear up when I'm watching it, because it's just like so fucking emotional. And it's crazy that anime can do that to you, but like, you know, I've cried on One Piece because of a ship and things like that. So like, I don't know, that episode Hero, and also the episode after that, when you find out that Erwin isn't dead.
He's like barely holding on to life, and Armin is like barely. They're both barely.
When they get the serum, and at first, you know, Eren and Mikasa have convinced Levi to give the serum up so that they can save. At first, it was like they were going to save Armin. You know, no question. We're going to save Armin. His heart's still beating. And the guy shows up with Erwin's body, and he's like, yo, he's still alive. And immediately, Levi fucking changes his mind. And it's when that guy came with Erwin's body, I said, oh, no. Like, oh, no. Like how do you why are you doing this? You're going to ruin me.
Want to talk about drama?
I could not deal. I had to stand up. I was like, oh my fucking goodness. I can't deal with this. This is too much. I started having a panic attack. I literally started having a panic attack because I realized where this was going. And then Mikasa was like, I can take him now. He's weakened. Like talking about Levi. I said, oh my God, what is happening? Like, it's getting so real. It was getting so fucking
Mikasa
real.
was like, listen, I will take Levi the fuck out.
Yo,
Like,
she was ready. And I was like, yo, I don't even know if that's true. Like, I don't even know if you could actually take him right now. Like, this is obviously, yes, this is your only opportunity where you may be able to beat Levi, but I'm not even sure if this is guaranteed. Like, it might end in a double KO, if any, like, at best, double KO. Oh my God. That episode, when they have to decide who lives, and Erwin smacks his hand away, but it's really like him in a dream. The whole directing of that episode is fucking insane. Like the episode where they showed a flashback with Erwin, and basically to Levi, it kind of seems like he chose Armin. When he was about to give him the injection, he smacked his hand away. But it's really him raising his hand in class in his flashback. It's insane.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Ah, man. Erwin, I know. Oh my God, it's so fucking good. God damn, it's so good.
And we can't forget about what Levi does to the Beast Titan, and what he constantly does to the Beast Titan. It's just absolutely
he houses
him.
the Beast Titan.
He just has him. He just has his number. He just has this guy's number.
In season 4, then they capture the Beast Titan, blah blah blah, and they enact this whole plan where they're giving this wine to people, and then the wine is with Zeke's fluid, which is the Beast Titan, and then it'll make it so he can turn people into Titans, blah, blah, blah. And then they're in the forest, and Levi's whole core drinks this wine.
Yep.
And multiple episodes are going with basically the Beast Titan and Levi playing verbal chess. They're talking to each other, trying to figure each other out.
But you can tell there's tension, and you can tell that there's something awry. Like, something is happening.
Yeah, and you don't know what's happening. And then finally the plan gets revealed, and Zeke turns all of these people into Titans, all of Levi's friends, members of his core, people that he's trained. And then the Beast Titan's running away, and he's basically laughing, and he's saying, like, you know, now what you'll do, like, you can't kill all your friends, like, you just watch them, like, because before there was speculation, but now, like, you're literally watching these people turn into Titans in front of you, and then in a instant, Levi just kills all of them. These are all people that he's friends with, that he knows their faces. He just kills them all in an instant. And he's like, do you realize how many people I've killed? Like, how many people I've killed? Like, how many people I've lost to this cause?
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck who they are.
I love that. I love that for him.
And he just murdered them.
And they do it off screen.
Yeah, and then just took Zeke down again. You have no idea how many people I've lost. Like, this is nothing.
He said, you could just sit down and eat your fucking food, could you? Read your book. You couldn't just eat your fucking slice of pizza and be happy, could you? You just had to do this. He's talking shit as the Beast Titan is trying to kill him and throw, I guess, mashed up pieces of other Titans. He's like trying to kill Levi with it. He's like, come on, show yourself. And Levi's like, you couldn't just sit down and eat your fucking food. I thought that was great. I love that Levi has this weird relationship with Zeke, and it always ends in Zeke's defeat. 3 times in a row now. I guess one of the times was like supposedly planned or something, but still, every time they fight, it never ends well for him.
Levi has his number, dude. Man, we're just jumping around. There's so many good things in all the seasons, but season 4, another thing interesting in terms of like the weird time travel or memory travel thing. Yeah, is season 4 opens with that thing, and then I forget the kid's name, but he's looking up at
Falco,
the sky.
Gabby and Colt.
And it's Falco, right? Who said he basically said he had a dream and
that he was swinging around with 3D maneuver gear.
Yes,
and there were Titans everywhere.
But what's weird about that is he's not a Titan.
He's not a Titan, as far as we know.
So he shouldn't have like inherited memories or fucking whatever.
They have been fucking us with this whole time travel or memory thing. The memory thing has been absolutely. It's some Kingdom Hearts shit.
It really is some Kingdom Hearts shit.
It has been ruining me. I don't understand, because at this point, we only have so many episodes left to wrap this all up. I don't really know. I'm getting kind of nervous. I don't know how well they're going to be able to do that. I'm just going to hope, because the writing has been so good so far. But
season 4 was amazing. So
some of the best. Season 3, also just some of the best anime I've ever seen. So I'm just hoping to God, and this is why I said Attack on Titan will be my number 1 anime of all time. It will be above Death Note, which is what I currently have as number 1. Death Note is my favorite anime. I think it's the best anime of all time. Attack on Titan will be the best anime of all time for me if they stick the landing, because it is just that good. But I am scared of this memory stuff, because I don't know how you solve it.
Yeah, I don't know how you solve it either. But that's the thing. I was scared of season 4 in general, because I was like, because I heard before season 4, even like before episode 1 came out, it was confirmed season 4 is going to be 16 episodes. I was like, I don't understand how they're going to wrap Attack on Titan up in 16 episodes.
Immediately told everyone who said that that's just not true.
Dude, I was just like, they're going to fucking fumble. I was like, I guess they're going to rush the ending. Like,
I said, that's just simply not true. I literally said that. I was like, that just can't be true. At the end of season 3, you get them reaching the ocean, and they've never seen anything like it. It's a big deal. They're playing in the water, looking at seashells, and that was one of the things that I think Armin wanted to see or something like that. Somebody wanted to see that.
It was Armin's dream to see the ocean.
Yeah, so they finally get to that. Which
and Aaron kind of inherited that dream.
Yes. So it's really cool when you see it.
Yeah. But then you see Aaron's face and the sadness on his face because he looks at the ocean. He learns that there's people on the other side of the ocean. He learns that there's people that hate him and his people. Yeah. And he just like, he looks across the ocean. And you can see it in his face. And I think he says it to some degree. He's like, will we be safe when we kill all of them? Like something along those lines. He's like, do we have to kill all of them to be safe?
Yeah. It's really sad.
Like, fuck.
Even though it's something so good happening to them, it's still you still get the feeling of sadness because these people have been attacking them for fucking years.
100 years.
They've been under attack for years. It's kind of crazy. So in the season 3, that happens. And when people were saying the final season is going to be 16 episodes, I was like, how do we go from them reaching the ocean to ending the entire thing in 16 episodes? There's no way. So I knew that was nonsense. But I also said, I don't even know if they could end it in 30, which is, and if there's going to be, let's say, another 16, so 32.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering, like, is 32 even enough to do it? Like, we're in a good spot right now. I will say that.
Yeah.
Where the first part of the final season ended, I do think we're in a good spot.
We're on the cusp of sort of what Aaron is planning.
What Zeke is planning or has planned.
Yeah, and then
right now we don't know his fate.
It'll only take one conversation
to
really reveal mysteries.
Yes, a lot of things. So let's talk about one of the best parts of the final season. There's so many good parts. Obviously, I Choose Violence is just great. But
talking about when Aaron came out from under the
No. We're going to talk about that too, but I want to talk about one of the other parts
that's choosing violence.
Yes, that's one of the things. The other thing is Willie Tyber's speech before he dies. So Willie Tyber's speech is actually it's crazy good because he essentially tells the whole world that the entire idea that the Titans were like put behind the wall and they, the whole history of the world is fake. Like the stories you've heard just isn't real. The reality is no one could actually beat the Titans, but one king came along that inherited the power of the Titans and was a pacifist. And he took his people and decided because they have committed such atrocities, they have wiped out complete civilizations, wiped out complete cultures, erased from the world. Titans have caused some of the most barbaric catastrophes in all mankind and just in general. Like they've just been they've been the destruction of the world. Because of this, he's decided to take all of his people, go behind a wall, erase their memories, and only people who aren't affected by it are his best friends. So the Ackerman line, because that was like his best friend was Ackerman. On top of that, if anybody were to come and attempt to kill them, then they would also just accept that too.
Yep.
So then he talks
all
about
the kings that inherit that will, they immediately lose control of their own willpower and they become pacifists.
Yep. No matter what you wanted to do. So if Historia Reese did inherit the founding Titan, which she was supposed to do in season 3, she would have just immediately inherited the will of the fucking king and decided to wipe everyone's memory again and be a pacifist. No matter what she wanted to do before, that should have been pacifist. So Willie explains like how this whole thing works. He also explains the reason why the world has to rise up against, Eldia. And it is essentially because of the rumbling. And the rumbling is all of the Titans being sent out from the wall to destroy, like flatten the earth, they call it, but like to destroy the rest of the world. All of the Titans just start moving forward. All of the colossal Titans start moving forward.
Yeah, and all the Titans that built the wall, essentially.
Yes, they will come out and it will be the end of the world. And in my head, I guess one of the only things that kind of bothers me about the rumbling, the idea of it, is that it doesn't seem like it's enough colossal Titans to like destroy the world. I just
really?
I don't
see how big and do you know how ridiculously big those walls are? If there's a colossal Titan,
the colossal Titan is 20 meters, I think they said.
Yeah, but so think about how if there's a colossal Titan throughout those walls, like all stand in hand, that's probably like no joke, thousands.
Oh, you think it's thousands of them?
Yeah, because think about how big the landmass. So like from episode 2 onward of Attack on Titan, the outermost wall was breached and the whole civilization moved to the innermost wall. And they give the diagrams. The amount of landmass between the second wall and the outermost wall was gigantic. There was they had entire civilization and life. There was parts of the civilization that people didn't even live on. There was farmland and wildlife. Like when you think about all of season 1, season 2, everything, when they go outside the wall, they're still inside the wall they used to live on. And it's just wilderness. It's just, you know what I mean? Like there's so
I get
much
what you're
landmass.
saying.
And so I think the circumference of the outer wall and then the second wall and then finally the final wall, that pure circumference, the amount of Titans that is, I think is like fucking crazy.
So every time I see the wall and they show how much space one colossal Titan takes up in that wall, I'm like, there can't be more than maybe a couple hundred. And even if there are a couple hundred, how could that be enough? Because they're on an island too. Let's not forget that. So logistically, I'm imagining them walking. Are they supposed to walk across? Am I supposed to believe these things are going to swim? Like,
yo, you saw my man stand in the ocean already, all right?
I saw him stand in the ocean. I didn't see him like go to the deepest parts of the ocean. At some point, 20 meters. Come on, 20 meters. At some point, 20 meters is not deep enough.
That's true, but somehow Godzilla and King Kong were to stand in the ocean.
I kind of feel like this is one of those things in anime where we're just supposed to accept what Willie said in his speech as just like this is law. Like they accept the fact that in this world, in the Attack on Titan world, the Titans in a wall could absolutely destroy the world. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that because especially where Willie's people are, the advanced civilization, where they have Titan killing weapons and shit like that, I really have a hard time understanding how that's possible. But more so, for me, Paradise Island is just that. It's an island. They're surrounded by water. So I don't know. Part of me has a hard time understanding how the fuck all these Titans are going to walk off of Paradise Island and I guess swim to the rest of the world and start destroying the rest of the world, and there's nothing the rest of the world can do. I don't know. That seems a little far-fetched.
I think the other thing is especially when you see, because they show in season 4 how they have literally Titan bombs. Like they drop humans out of planes and turn them into Titans.
That shit.
Like and when Titans form, there's like a huge explosion of energy.
Specifically the colossal Titans too.
Yeah, so they have like they use humans literally as bombs, but then on top of that, they're Titans and cause more havoc, right? So I think the other thing is, I don't know how possible it is for the founding Titan to like turn somebody back into a human. The other thing is,
that would be some wild. Okay, so at that point, that's a bit wild. If like, those Titans in a wall could be turned back into people, and I never ever once considered that, but in reality, maybe they are people. That is fucking scary,
people, right? They have to be people that were turned into Titans. Every Titan is a person.
No, I'm not saying that. Obviously, every Titan is a person. What I'm saying is a person that could turn back into it. You can't just turn a regular Titan can't just be turned back unless they inherit one of the 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and there's only, as we know, there's only 9. There's only 9.
Yeah, only 9 of the shifters.
Only 9 of the ones that can transform back. So, if the ones in a wall can actually transform back to human, that's too much. Because then you just have like an entire group of people that can
I think the other thing that's scary is at any point in time, the idea is, or the fear is that every single Eldian can be turned into a Titan because of the founding Titan and the bloodline. So like all of those Eldians can just become Titans.
That's also true for because he can also technically do that too. If he just spreads his liquid to everyone, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, so it's fucked up. That speech was crazy.
Yeah, that speech is really one of my favorite moments.
I remember the other thing, and I don't believe that anybody just understood it on their first watch, man. Because I remember it tripped me up, and I had to rewatch it a couple times because it was confusing. But they tell the story 2,000 years ago about Ymir, like I believe she's the original founding Titan. But then you have Ymir that we know that was part of the group that she ended up becoming the Jaw Titan. And she had like a crush, you could say, on Historia or Krista. You have that Ymir, and she tells her whole story and like how she was part of a cult. And then there's like the actual Ymir that she was named after. I don't know, all that stuff. I just remember being so interested in it, like just sitting there.
The
and
fact
just
that both their
staring
names
at
are
it.
Ymir, and when you do see those little illustrations they show with Ymir, the first Titan or whatever, it's a very ugly looking creature. It looks like Ymir that we know.
Yeah.
It looks like that same ugly ass Titan the Jaw Titan, I guess. It looks like that Titan. It has the very, very big head, small body, very ugly, and the name is the same. And that's so blatant to name, a Titan that looks very similar to those illustrations. The same, like, I don't know. I feel like that's also something. I'm glad you brought it up. There's so much mystery to this shit still. Look, we're on the final season and we're on the final episodes now. We still don't know a lot of shit.
Because they do so much cool shit, man. Like when they show in the final season, because they talk about how Reiner, Annie, and Bertolt had a fourth person with them, and they talk about how that person got eaten by Ymir.
That part is crazy.
At the time, Ymir was just a random Titan, and she accidentally ate the Jaw Titan, and blah blah blah. And then like they show the flashback to like what happened,
and how the whole mission got botched.
Yes, and then how Reiner was like, "We have to go forward," and they show them all as kids, and then I don't know, when you look back at season 1 and you see the scenes with you, like go back and watch season 1, you see the scenes with Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt just together, and it's just always so interesting, and they have these weird interactions, and you're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, because when you realize that Marley sent children to do this mission, actual children, it makes a lot of sense how they botched it. They're kids.
Yeah.
And the things went wrong. Now, granted, these kids are military trained, they're Titan trained, so they're very, they're not regular kids, but they're also still not on the level of adult decision making. They can't be, they're children. So when they do finally get to Paradise Island and the mission starts to get a little botched where one of them gets eaten and the Titan runs away, and they were like, there's no way you can catch that Titan. Like the Titan that he had, there's no way you can catch it. And then Reiner and Annie fight, and you start to see signs of Reiner's split personality disorder, because at one point he's terrified. And when he starts fighting Annie, he chokes her the fuck out, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So they've been hinting at this multiple personality disorder thing that Reiner has, and you see it even more when he's about to kill himself. He has the gun in his mouth, and he's about to take his own life. You see it when at some point he literally says, "Who am I?" Like he kind of literally questions like who he is. He's being torn apart, because the scene where he's sitting down with his family, and he said, and it's almost funny, but it's creepy when he's explaining how bad, and I'm using bad with the air quotes here, how bad the people of Paradise Island was, when his parents and stuff are asking, "Oh my God, it must have been awful having to deal with those people, those monsters," they say. And he's like, "Yeah, it was so bad. One of them would steal potatoes and food and meat just so that she could eat all the time. And the other one wouldn't shut the fuck up." And he basically is talking about all the main characters. He's going down one by one. But everything he's saying is just regular human behavior, like very trivial.
Not only that, you can tell he's reminiscing. You can tell in that moment that he doesn't harbor real hatred toward these people, and he almost kind of misses them.
As he's trying to, I guess, convince his family that yes, they are monsters, because they're basically asking for some examples of like, "Oh my God, how bad was it?" And he starts to name these very human things. His family is mortified. The looks on their faces when Reiner, and he's not really talking to them anymore, he's staring off into space. It's like that. You can tell he's not there.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's reminiscing. The looks on their faces tells you that they're like, there's no way that's real. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh my God. And then it's crazy. You see Reiner, he's all grown up, and the way they start season 4, I know some people didn't like it, which I find pretty surprising, but season 4 starts, it's like you're following a new cast. You don't really know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And then they show you Eren at the end of one of the episodes, and some people miss that was Eren. I remember I was watching it, and I was just like on the phone with my girlfriend. Like we were watching it, we were syncing it together, right? And I was like, "Do you know who that was?" And I don't think she caught it. And I was like, "That was Eren. Like that was fucking Eren." Like,
I had the same experience with Gary.
That was fucking Eren.
When I watched that episode where at the end of it they show who you don't know him at this point, because he has like a fucked up leg, like he's missing a leg, like literally he's an amputee. So he's missing a leg, and he has long hair, kind of like an eye patch going on. So it's a lot. This guy's fucked up, and he's on his bench, and some crazy lunatic guy sits down next to him. He's old as shit. He starts talking about how it's all my fault. I forced him to become a doctor. And he's literally talking about Grisha Yeager. Which the more the old guy starts to go into his like schizophrenic mode, one, he's speaking straight up facts. And you realize that he's talking about Grisha Yeager. So you realize he's Grisha Yeager's dad. He's like, I forced my son to become a doctor. And he gives all these other facts that pretty much talk about like Aaron's dad.
Yep.
And after he's taken away, Aaron's just kind of sitting there. And they show his eyes. Like they show, Falco talks to him at one point and they show his eye. And I was like, holy shit. Like when I realized that, because the episode just goes off immediately. Like in the second they show his face, I was like, that was Aaron. And I rewinded
it. And you turn it back. You were like, Gary, that's fucking Aaron, right? Yo, I did the same thing. I was like, do you know who that was? That was fucking Aaron. I was like, we got to go back. That was fucking Aaron.
And then after that, so back to I Choose Violence. So as Willie Tybur is giving that speech, Aaron is also giving a speech. And I actually love this speech as well because
Reiner.
Aaron, yes, to Reiner. He's talking, and Falco's in the room too. He told him to stay. Don't you leave. So Aaron's speech to Reiner was really cool to me because he said, I'm just like you. I didn't have a choice. And at first, Aaron was like, why did my mom have to be eaten? Like, what was the reason for that? Why did my mom have to die such a horrific death? Why did that have to happen? And he was like, I know why. It's because you didn't have a choice. And he's like, I don't have a choice either. We're exactly the same. And I really like that because it shows you Aaron's descent into being a monster. So season 1, episode 1, this horrible thing happens to this kid. He vows to kill every Titan. But for the most part, his humanity is intact all throughout all 3 seasons. And then in the final season, he's much older. 4 years have passed. I think they explained like they've been doing a war with Marley's been in a war with some other nation. They won this war, but Aaron is now in Marley and he's jaded as fuck. And he's clearly made his mind up. Like he's made his mind up that he's going to be exactly what Reiner and Berthold were to him. And he's going to kill innocent people. And he's going to cause terror. And he's going to show the world how fucked up this whole thing can be when it's reversed on them. This is what it looks like. He even says something along the lines of, I can feel that this building that we're in is brimming with life. Like it must be overpacked with people right now because of Willie's speech. I can feel that this particular building, like it's a residential area. It's probably teeming with a bunch of life. And he points up and Reiner realizes what Aaron is thinking because if he transforms right here, it's going to be the death of a lot of people. And he literally chooses violence. Like he shakes at Reiner's hand and he starts transforming and it's just so bad. That was the end of the episode too when that happened. I lost it. He like transformed,
shoots up with his mouth open.
Yep. And you see Willie flip up in the air, and I realized that Willie was dead before he even got eaten. Like Willie was actually dead when he was midair. If you go back and look at it, like he's actually dead midair.
What's also crazy and kind of fucked up is that you kind of find this out because Willie's talking about how before this happens that he thinks he might die. He thinks he's going to die.
He's aware of it.
Is that part of the reason why he's giving this speech and saying how peaceful the Eldians are is to kind of checkmate them because he feels like he's going to die here. Like Aaron attacking now takes everything he just said and makes it awkward because it's like he's saying that the Eldians are peaceful and then.
So he said that the Eldians were peaceful, but he also said that they were the biggest threat to mankind. So he kind of shat on them at the same time. Like
and then Aaron proves it.
Yes, he kind of set them up, and he even said this to I forget the military general, the main military.
Yeah,
general,
I know you're talking about.
But he's in that horse and carriage ride they have. It's a flashback. He explains that I'm going to give like Aaron and the Paradise Island team. I'm going to give them exactly what they want, which is my death. Right? Like I'm one of the people they probably want dead, and I'm going to give them a show. They want to come and they want to murder and get revenge, and I'm going to give them. I'm going to serve myself up on a silver platter. So the whole world can see how bad they are, essentially making it where the whole world will rise up against Eldia. And it's really smart. It's a great sacrifice.
Really smart.
When you put it in context, because at that same speech was like ambassadors and people from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, like he said, the whole world got to see what Aaron did. And Aaron still took the bait and chose violence and like killed everybody in front of him. I thought that was fantastic. The way like Willie sacrificed himself he tried to checkmate. I mean, his goal was to checkmate Aaron and everybody else.
For sure. And then what follows is some amazing episodes, some amazing lines. Like,
because at the time we still don't know who the Warhammer Titan is.
We don't know who the Warhammer Titan is, right? And I think a lot of people at this point, well, before Willie dies, are suspecting that maybe it's Willie. And if it's not Willie, who is it? So we don't know who the Warhammer Titan is. Also, we don't know that Aaron's homies aren't in on the plan. What's fucked up is that at the time, we think this is like a plan that has been put in motion, and Aaron is the advanced guard.
Yes.
And so when the homies come in, you're hyped. You're like,
can I just say that this season was directed so fucking well?
Dude, it was really fucking good.
Because like you said, I thought the same thing. As I'm watching this, I was thinking to myself, surely everyone else is nearby. Surely this is a plan. I thought they were all here. Because you also, episode 1, you see Gene. Gene is reading the paper at the end of episode 1 after the war when Marley wins. You see him walking away. You see his hair in the back. It's like that kind of pinkish hair that he has, or whatever color hair it is.
Yeah.
But you see him walking. I think his name is Gene. You see him walking away with a top hat on and like a little suit, and the episode goes off, and you realize, oh shit, they're here. Like they're in Marley. And so when you see Aaron, you're thinking, oh, the whole squad is here, and it's all a big plan together. And then as Aaron is fighting the Warhammer Titan, at one point he gets fucked up real bad because the Warhammer Titan is OP as hell. And he's like, anytime now, Mikasa. And Mikasa comes out. She does Ackerman things. She does some very epic Ackerman things. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then when she lands on Aaron, on his Titan, she's like, Aaron, you've done some terrible things that you can never take back.
Yeah.
You've killed children, Aaron. And as she says that, she's looking around. She's also tearing up. She's looking around. People are screaming and running. You literally saw children being trampled, and one of them got trampled and killed. One of the candidates to be the armor Titan got trampled and killed.
Just watch his head like just get bounced. That's
like literally the kids have gotten several kids have gotten killed. Several people have gotten killed, and it's chaos. As she's saying this to Aaron, he is just emotionless. He's not saying anything.
Yep.
He's not. He doesn't even seem sad. He just seems indifferent. Like the word that I would use for Aaron is indifferent.
Yes, and then you cut to Armin. He goes colossal in like the ocean, and Armin is feeling despondent and sad. Like Armin is sad that this is happening, and basically the whole team. You see the whole team is riding. They're doing what they have to do because Aaron put them in a situation. But at first you thought this was the plan.
Yeah,
but then you realized that Aaron checkmated his own team.
Yes, and he forced their hand. He forced their hand. Yeah, she says, Aaron, what have you done? Like this is crazy. So you realize, holy shit. He's operating on his own. Like this is his own thing. He did not get permission to do this.
Because when they get him, they fucking like throw him and like they're interrogating him.
Yes, it's a whole big thing. But they do successfully extract him and apparently extract the Beast Titan and all of that.
My favorite part, by the way, I think my favorite part of that is when all that's going on and the Jaw Titan transforms and they're fighting, and then when all of the Survey Corps members are coming through and the Jaw, you hear his inner thoughts, and he's like, why aren't they scared of me?
Yeah,
like, you're just humans. For God's sakes. Like, I'm a Titan. Like, why aren't they scared of me? And it's like he has no idea what these people have been through.
Yeah.
And no idea, like, the techniques.
The demons at Paradise Island?
Yeah, like, they are not scared of you. Like, you're a Titan. Congratulations.
Yeah,
like congratulations.
Okay. That shit is epic. Oh, my God. I love... So, that episode, and then the episode called Assault, when the Beast Titan comes in, and it's really scary too. You see Levi is there now, but he's like hiding, and the Beast Titan is like, where are you? I know you're here somewhere. And Levi keeps checking his watch.
Yep.
And they're pretty much surrounded. At one point, I believe Peak, the fucking the card Titan, she's there. Like everyone's there. And it looks really bad. Everything looks really fucked. And then you see the Colossal Titan appear in its Armin. And that was a big thing too, because I think that's the first time you see. Yeah, that is the first time you see him transform, and it's a nuke. It's a fucking nuke.
It's a nuke.
That transformation. I remember saying to all my friends, "Did you notice that when Armin transformed, he dried up the ocean? Like the area that he transformed in, he was standing. I'm assuming that was an ocean.
Yeah, his shit.
Or at least the sea. Whatever. He was standing in a big body of water when he first transforms. Like he was in a big body of water, and when you see him standing, he's standing on ground, and it's like evaporated. The water's evaporated. The ground is fucking made out of almost magma looking. Like it's crazy.
He literally nukes the harbor.
with just the transformation. That's not the steam ability he has. That's not any other abilities he
That's
might
also
have.
just not him walking and
The
stepping
destructive
on
power.
things.
Yes, because we've seen the Colossal Titan kick Eren before, I believe. I believe Bertholdt kicked him into a wall before.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, it's nuts.
Something I wanted to talk about. This is jumping back a little bit, but it's just something that I thought was cool. It also has to do with memories. But we end up seeing Annie in season 4 for the first time since season 1, and she's encased in that crystal. She like put herself in the crystal to keep herself safe, so that people couldn't get her or experiment on her. And that crystal is unbreakable, basically, except for the only thing we've seen break it is when we go all the way to Iron Titan, the Jaw Titan, when Eren like used the Jaw Titan's jaws to get the
I had a
Warhammer
panic
Titan
attack from that, by the way. But yeah,
that was so wild. But it was cool to see Annie again, and she's still young. She hasn't aged at all. She's in the crystal, and her body hasn't aged. We see Reiner's a grown man now.
Yeah,
Annie
Reiner
hasn't
looks way
aged
different
at all. And I wonder if she's still going to die in the time frame of 13 years, or if
That's
that
a good point.
crystal is going to preserve her life. I don't know. Secondly, they do the thing where Armin is constantly visiting Annie and talking to her, like talking to her body that's in the crystal, and he's like reminiscing and he's thinking about things, and then he's having like these feelings, and I think it's Reiner, or maybe it's somebody else, but I think it's Reiner. But they basically say like, "Are you sure that's you visiting Annie?" And they talk about how he inherited Bertholdt, and we know that Bertholdt had emotional feelings for Annie. Yeah. And now that Armin has the Colossal Titan and Bertholdt's memories, is it Armin's will to be visiting Annie, or is he being influenced by Bertholdt?
Right.
And it was just like an interesting little
that's
thing.
Another layer, and that's another layer that's really cool to me too, is the whole, again, back to the memories thing. If he's being influenced by Bertholdt in any way, that's a scary concept.
Yes.
So
yeah.
It's really good. I know we didn't really like get too big on the season 4. We didn't talk too much about season 4's action, and I feel like because it's so fresh, you guys have seen it, I'm sure.
The other thing is, I love the action. The action's great. The animation's great, but it's really fun to watch. I love seeing it. I love seeing Levi pop off. But for me, Attack on Titan, those moments are amazing. But the moment Attack on Titan's not about, as you call them, flesh Gundams fighting.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's like all the mystery, the story, the drama, the circumstance, all of that, everything around that, all the talking, like the show,
that's
the
what
story.
What makes it a good anime.
It's what's really good. I love the fighting. I love the animation. But there's only so much you can talk about, like how sick the anime. You know what I mean? But when you talk about what it meant, there's so much more to bite into.
Yes, exactly. Which is why we spend more time focusing on the plot and things like that, and the characters and how they've developed. Like, Eren has changed so much, and I used to hate Eren as a character. I bet a lot of people would agree, but he was a whiny, annoying kid for the first couple of seasons, and by the final season, the person that he is now, the person whose resolve cannot be shaken by anything, the person who's hard as nails, who's apparently now a supermodel, I love him now. Like, he is.
Oh, you're talking about the end of the season when he like puts the jacket on?
I'm talking about when you see him in his fucking jail cell and he has no shirt on and he's looking in the mirror and he has a fucking 8-pack. And I think at one point,
end, you want to talk about supermodel? Look at that last scene when he puts the jacket on.
With the jacket. There's a figure that they made recently, or it's coming out. It's probably pre-order because all figures, they start out. But I saw a recent pre-order for an Eren figure where he's doing that. He's putting that jacket on without a shirt.
Yeah.
And it's just like him chiseled to like he's fucking buff as hell.
Chiseled.
And so one of my friends said they were going to order it. Yeah, it's really cool. But I agree. Like the drama is what really does it for us. The action is amazing. I always think about season, 4, so the final season, episode 1, because that was the first episode and it was all we had for a very long time. I watched that episode probably 6 times before the second episode came out because I couldn't stop listening to that music. Ashes on the Fire, I think it's called. But the music they play when the war gets to like its climax where Marley wins is so fucking good to me that I find myself just listening to it randomly, like in real life. I'll just, outside of the anime, I'll just listen. I have that. It's on Apple Music. Yeah. Ashes on the Fire. It's so good. And I like some of the things that the Beast Titan said to Reiner. He says, Reiner, isn't war a terrible thing? He also says, like, our failure 4 years ago is why this is happening. So, like, they're in a war because they failed to procure the founding Titan, and they lost a couple Titans also. Yep. So now they're perceived by the rest of the world as weak. So another nation has attacked Marley because they seem weak, which makes a lot of sense. If the United States lost all of their nuclear capability, I'm sure the other nations might be like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, let's make a move.
So when he says, like, isn't war a terrible thing, he's kind of fucking with Reiner's psyche. Like, it's kind of like a mental abuse. It's kind of making him feel guilty about what happened. Like, you should feel bad that right now we're losing a lot of Marlians and a lot of people have to die because you were dumb or you failed to do what you were supposed to do. And I really like that because, to have children be essentially these mindless killers, you have to brainwash them.
Yeah.
And I feel like a big part of Reiner's character development is removing the brainwashing. You can tell, like when you say he was reminiscing about the moments he spent with them. And he even said at one point, I spent too much time with these people.
Yeah.
He's kind of mad about it because they're getting to him. They're starting to make him, he's cracking. Like,
at the end of the day, he was still a kid, man. Like, he went there. I don't remember exactly how old he was, but let's say he was 17. Like, he goes there and he's living with these people. He's growing, he's eating with them. And as all the stories he's been told, he's sitting there and he's like, these are just people.
He expected to hate them from the gate, for them to be monsters, for them to be devils, as they are so often called. And it's just not the case. It's just not the case.
I don't know. It's not even like racism because it is racism, right? They're racist against them. But it's interesting because the big thing that people say like kills racism is, or the big thing that sparks racism is, fear of the unknown.
Yep.
And it's like when you just sit down and you share a meal with people and like you're sitting with these other people and you see like they're just people.
Yes.
You realize
it's getting deep, isn't it? It's getting deep on IMNerd today.
It really does it's deep because
he's
deep sitting there. He was brainwashed and he was told how evil and how these people are just monsters. And he's going there and he's like, they're just running for their lives. Like, they're scared. They're trying to live. They need to eat. They have families. Like, they're just people like I was.
They're also terrified of Titans too. Like, they're not any fucking different as far as that goes. They're not looking at Titans like allies. They're fucking terrified. When they saw Titans, they all ran and screamed too.
Yeah, they're like, so he sits there and he reminisces and, it fucks with his psyche. Like, he doesn't know what to do. Like,
I love Reiner's character arc so far. I like how he can't beat Eren. I don't know why he keeps trying, but Eren has had his number for a long time now. He needs to give that up. When he got back up after Eren had already fucked him up, and used the Jaw Titan to open up the Warhammer Titan and drink her blood and all that, I was like, what is he like? He had a new form, which I thought was cool. The Armor Titan can like move its armor around until like I want to say an attack mode and a defense mode. So we're used to seeing it in defense mode, and I feel like the one that he went into against Eren last was an attack version of it, but it still wasn't on Eren's level. Like Eren, especially if Eren was at full power, I feel like he would just beat the shit out of him again, and we don't even know what fucking abilities Eren just got from the Warhammer Titan. Like, I don't know where that's gonna go.
Wasn't there the point? I can't remember the exact conversation or who he was talking to. I think it was when Eren was in the prison and he was like, "You realize I have the War Titan power."
He did the Hanj.
He said something like that.
Yeah, he
grabbed
her.
Yeah.
He told her, "There's no prison in the world that can hold me right now. Like, I am here in this cell because I choose to allow you guys to do it. But if at any point I decided to leave, I can." And she realizes that's true as well.
I love moments like that. Like in the movie Man of Steel, when they have Superman in handcuffs and he's like, "Really, guys? Like, come on. Like, I'm just here. I'm letting you guys keep me here. I'm fucking Superman."
Yeah, he very clearly tells her, like, I have multiple Titans at this point. Oh, so before we completely wrap up, this is something another thing, a mystery. So Eren has the Founding Titan, the Attack Titan, and now the Warhammer Titan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I said this to you, but I'm going to say it on the podcast. I don't understand how are you supposed to split those Titans apart? Because the way it works is if someone with a Titan is eaten, right, by another Titan, that Titan then transforms back into a human and they now can turn into whatever Titan a person had that was eaten. So if somebody were to eat Annie, they will become the female Titan. Kind of funny to think about if a guy does it, but still.
I think the answer to that is, I believe they said this, but I don't 100% remember. I think the answer to that is the Founding Titan, because they say the Founding Titan can alter Eldian DNA. And that's like the whole Zeke plan where they need the Founding Titan and blah, blah, blah to make it so that all the Eldians are euthanized. I believe, because I think that's how the 9 Titan powers came to be, is the Founding Titan sort of delivered them. I think if Eren is in contact with the Founding Titan or even obtains the Founding Titan somehow, like let's say Eren has the Warhammer Titan, like he could use the Founding Titan to give the Warhammer power to somebody else.
Right. Well, Eren does have the Founding Titan.
Yeah.
But if he comes in contact with a Royal, I guess is what you're saying.
Royal, yeah. Or even maybe without a Royal. I don't remember exactly.
But you can't access the full power without a Royal too. So I get what you're going. Like he needs
because he needs the Royal blood. Yeah.
Yes, he needs either Zeke. He needs either Zeke or Historia to access the full power of the coordinate.
Yes, because that's why he's not mind controlled, because he's not a Royal. So he has the Founding Titan, and so I think him with access to a Royal, for example, I think he'd be able to access the Founding Titan power to augment DNA, and if he wanted to, he could give the Warhammer Titan power to like a random Eldian.
Right now, he has so many Titans in him, and I'm thinking if somebody eats him, they get all three. And so how do you ever split them apart? But I guess the only way to split them apart is, like what you said, is if the Founding Titan has the ability to manipulate DNA and like, I can give this Titan away. Because it's kind of weird that right now, it's very all eggs are in one basket with Eren.
Yeah.
Like Eren is a very all-in strategy, which is great because he's very powerful now, but it also is kind of scary too, because the whole idea of having eggs in one basket, if that basket gets fucking attacked.
Yeah. I mean, Eren's plan at one point, as far as I can tell, was like, I'll just get all the Titan powers.
Yes, he was about to get
them all.
He was about to get the Jaw Titan. He was seconds away from getting the Jaw Titan.
He's like, if I get them all, like, okay, we won't be competed against, and
if Reiner didn't wake back up from those kids screaming his name, he was going to have the Jaw Titan as well, which I just can't even imagine. He doesn't need any more Titans at all.
No, he doesn't. Speaking of the Jaw Titan, though, it was pretty cool. I don't know, I'm really interested to see episode 1 of the next season, because that season ends with basically a war starting, another war starting. They're here, the Jaw Titan popped out, Peak is there, like the war is here on our soil now.
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually really interested in that as well. It ends with them. They're still in Marley, right? Are they in Marley? Or no, they're
no. I think season 4 ends with
they're
in Paradise.
Yeah,
and
they
like the planes are coming in. Like Reiner, if I remember, season 4 ends. The Jaw Titan comes out from the building, and Reiner's in the plane, and the plane's head over Paradise Island.
Right. And we already saw Peak is reading a newspaper, pretending to be a civilian, so she's there as well.
No, she's not even. Remember, at the end, she is with Eren, and she leads Eren up to the roof. She's like,
Peak did?
Yeah, Peak leads. I'm pretty sure it's Peak. She leads Eren up to the roof.
Oh, and then they actually meet at one point, right? Don't they have a conversation?
Yeah, they have a conversation.
It's coming back to me now. It's been a while.
They have like a little back and forth, and then Eren's really suspicious of her. Peak leads Eren to the roof. They have a conversation, and then while Eren is standing there, the floor opens up, and the Jaw Titan comes out from under and like is about to eat Eren. And then you see the plane, and you see Reiner on the plane.
At first, Peak made it seem like she was trading on her people.
Yes.
She made it seem like she was going to cooperate with Eren. Eren obviously didn't fucking trust her, and she was leading him into a trap, and then it didn't work. But okay, it's coming back to me now because those last couple episodes I've only seen them once when they first aired. I never went back to them.
Yep.
But now it's starting to slowly come. So yeah, they are on Paradise Island. They killed the one general guy with a bomb. A lot has happened. They fucking beat up. Was it Pixis? They jumped one of the older guys. That was fucked up.
I think it was him, or maybe it was the other guy, the guy that was training them.
I know who you're talking about, but they beat the shit out of one of the older guys, which I thought was fucked up. Levi got blown up because Zeke decided.
Yeah, we don't know if Levi's alive. I mean, Levi's alive. But
Levi's alive, but I don't think that Levi will be fighting in the next season, like in the next half of this. I think he's going to be out of commission for the entirety of the rest, because I assume that he lost a limb. I'm going to assume that one of Levi's limbs is actually blown off. Like I have to imagine they're going to nerf him somehow and take him out of the equation, because, like, again, it's the same thing with Gojo. It's like having this guy in the equation makes it really hard to believe that anyone is a real threat.
Yeah, none of the other. There's not a Titan there that can deal with Levi.
Because the only Titan that I think he would have had problems with would have been like the Warhammer Titan, but Mikasa kind of soloed the Warhammer Titan, so maybe not even that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
I guess he would have been able to beat.
Yeah, he couldn't get the killing blow.
Yeah, because like once she puts herself in that crystal, like the crystal that she was in, we know that Levi can't get in that crystal, and so technically Levi could never beat the Warhammer Titan or the female Titan while they're in that crystal form. And the Warhammer Titan starts off like that. Like that is its regular start.
Yeah, she's not even in the Titan. That shit's
No.
crazy.
So like Levi would go for the nape, and even if he cut the nape, even though that Titan is like crystallized, like it's made of that fucking crystal shit. So even if he did like cut the nape, I don't even think it would matter because he'd probably be Snug Attack. It's probably his worst matchup. The crystal was just his worst matchup.
I agree.
So none of the Titans that are currently there, like you said, the Jaw Titan, the Card Titan, the Beast Titan, none of them can deal with him. So as long as he's in play, it's kind of bad. But I think the writer just took Levi off the table.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think even one leg Levi will still fuck people up.
I think it'll be so cool though if he just lost an arm instead, and he still is insane with one arm.
He'll still just murder fools.
Yeah,
Levi will still murder fools.
I think one arm Levi will be like Shanks, like just fucking beastly as hell. Like he's still just too much. Like one arm.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next season. I mean, the mystery, everything about Attack on Titan is really interesting. There's, probably even more to be talked about.
There's so much that we could talk about with Attack. I love the anime, and like I said, it's one of my favorite. It's already in my top 5. No matter what happens, I think it's going to be in my top 5 unless it absolutely. It's going to be in my top 5 no matter what. Because even if it nosedives, it can't nosedive so bad that I would think that it's not top 5 material after what I've seen.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't. If it wasn't good at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be the greatest. I think it's going to be really good though, because I think the writer knew the ending when he started. Like
That is what I'm hoping. I always hope that, and I hope this for every writer. I hope that the writers always write the end and work backwards, not the other way. Like I don't like the idea of you starting a story and not knowing how it's going to end, because that's how you end up with shitty endings.
Yep, because then you don't know how to end it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like that's one of the reasons why I'm confident the ending of One Piece will be amazing, because I know that Oda already he already saw the ending. Like it's already in his head. Like he's already done it. You know what I mean? Like he's already taken a shower and said every fucking word of dialogue that is the ending of One Piece.
Yes.
And that's what feels like the Attack on Titan author has done as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to God that the ending. I know some people already know what it is. Apparently, there's a chance that there might be a different ending for the anime. Don't know how true that is, but even if that is the case, I'm actually I'm not one of those people who's opposed to stuff like that, and because it happened with Full Metal Alchemist, like 2 different stories essentially being told.
As long as it's still really good.
Yes, not 2 completely different stories, but like different enough. It all is. Yeah, it's happened with a couple things where the Death Note it ends slightly differently.
Yeah,
the manga, actually all of Death Note, the movie ends different from the manga, ends different from the anime, but it's essentially the same thing. So,
in most situations, I almost always would be like, okay, I'm caught up to the anime, I'm going to read the manga.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, for Attack on Titan, I just really want to watch it. Like, I don't want to read the manga.
I don't want to, because I'll be honest, something that happened to me with My Hero Academia for this current season is that I read the manga already, so I'm kind of like, I'm further than the anime is for My Hero Academia. And it has made it where this entire season that's airing right now, I haven't watched a single episode of it because I read it already. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really interested because I already know that there's not any epic fights or anything that's happening with this current season. Like I'm already aware of all the things that happen in this current season, and I just don't need to see it be animated. So
I'm current in My Hero. I don't remember specifically what this season's going to cover, but I know that when I have gone back and watched it, it's always still been like the anime has always still been worth watching. Like,
yes.
Go back and rewatch it.
And at some point I am going to watch the current season of My Hero because that's just what I even did it like last season, which Chiyusaki, I love his power, and the little girl Eri. I went back and watched it, but that also just had an insane fights, like insane,
incredible.
And as you guys can hear, one of our coming episodes is definitely going to be My Hero Academia.
Yeah, damn. I feel like there's one more thing I want to say about Attack on Titan. I'm trying to remember.
Go off, King. I'm going to get the listener letter ready because we do have one to read.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't fully remember. I had one more point about Attack on Titan. I can't fully remember, but I think what I'll just say is that I'm really excited for the ending. I'm confident that it will end well. Oh, another thing I did want to say, this wasn't the thing I forgot, but we talked about earlier, the music of the endings, the openings, Sasageo. In the JJK episode I wanted to mention, I completely forgot. I love the ending theme and the little animation of the ending theme of JJK, like when they come out and they're dancing and shit, and he does his hair and he's dancing and the music all fucking funky.
Yeah.
And like Gojo comes out and the music gets sensual and Gojo's like, ooh, like, and he's like
I love that they have such a serious broken ass character like that. So silly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just randomly, I remember I wanted to talk about that on the JJK when we were talking about JJK, but I love that ending theme. It's so fun.
It's actually a crime that we haven't talked about music and anime yet, because Bleach has some of the absolute best anime music.
Yeah, we got to talk more about the music for sure.
I've been thinking about how we're going to do it, because I wish that we could fucking play clips.
Yeah.
But like,
it's hard to talk about it because we can't be like, we can't show an example.
Exactly. We're just
I'm not going to fucking, you guys don't want to hear me sing it.
Exactly. But all right, I'm going to go to listener letter. So guys, as you already know, if you want us to read something aloud on the show, please send it to IMNerd Podcast at gmail.com and we may read it aloud. So this one is from Austin, one of our patrons. He says, and this is in relation to JJK and Yu-Gi-Oh! This is a combo one because something that was said in the JJK episode reminded me of something I was going to ask with the episode with Tyree. I've noticed such a difference between old and new people when it comes to both. I've noticed how flighty the new anime people are, like you guys mentioned, but I've also noticed that new Yu-Gi-Oh! Players seem to play 3 or 0 when it comes to deck building, while older players tend to tech the decks out a little more. As an old school player, I've actually been playing the new formats a lot, and yeah, you have to play a lot of hand traps, but it's no different than having instants in Magic the Gathering to me. Also like how they're trying to bring back a bunch of old school into the new school, as well as legacy support and old banned cards with heavier costs, except for Triple Tactics talent. It's an interesting direction for sure. I'm just ready for in-person tournaments again, since I actually did well at the one and only regional I played before the pandemic. Also, while writing this, I realized I've only ever played toolbox decks competitively. So this isn't a question or anything, but he's just saying there is a big difference between the old school and the new school. The older players tend to tech their decks out. The newer players tend to play just 3 of everything if they can play. And they're trying, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Seems to be trying to bring back old stuff by buffing it. And I said this with Gladiator Beast. The new Gladiator Beast cards are fucking insane, but they're still not competitive for current Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's just that far gone. But like, if you took the new Glad Beast cards and put them in 2007 when they were first playable, it is tier 0 by a lot. Like, it's Meta Knight.
It's 0.
It's tier 0 by a lot. Like, Teledad wouldn't be able to compete.
No, that's interesting. I know old decks and older players did definitely play a lot of one-ofs. And I haven't played in a while, but I did notice people slowly transitioning to 3 or none.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see that
seem to be less tech cards.
I do see that a lot in Magic too. I've seen that when I was a Magic player for briefly in 2010, and I noticed that everything was like you just play 4 of every card. Like every card you pretty much play 4 of. It's very few instances of you playing less than 4 copies of a card. So this seems to be a thing. But he also mentions he can't wait until in-person Yu-Gi-Oh! Returns, and I agree. Whatever the first YCS is, I actually plan to go to it, even though I don't plan to play. I just want to hang out and see everybody. So no matter where the first in-person event is, I'm actually going to fly out to. I really, really want to go to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event because it's been fucking almost 2 years. And that's insane. It's been almost like the pandemic will be 2 years old in March. So I'm ready. I'm ready to see all of the guys again and go out to a nice dinner. And
what's funny though is that people used to get sick going to events anyway.
Yes, way before the pandemic, going to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event was a gamble. You were more than likely come back with a cold.
So people are going to get sick, or there's an argument being made because flu cases this year and last year were way lower. The argument people make is like, well, people are being a lot safer. They're washing their hands. They're wearing masks and stuff. And so just doing that. Like, for example, in Asian culture, like I know whenever I would go to EVO, I only went to EVO once. But when I went to EVO and whenever I would watch EVO, you notice, especially a lot of people from the Asian countries, they always are wearing masks.
Yes.
Whenever they go to big events, they're always wearing a mask.
I thought it was cool because I like them for a fashion.
But they also, it would help them, not get sick as often.
Yep. It was smart. It was honestly smart for me. I wish I was doing that with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I got sick often coming back from YCSs. I mean, you're shuffling all these different decks from people all over the world, all these different germs that your body has probably never come in contact with.
Yeah. At least half the people didn't take a shower.
Yep.
a couple,
very
couple
true.
axe baths.
Not an axe bath.
A couple people take a straight axe bath. Okay,
Ugh.
I remember one time I had this was at Frazier's house when Smash 4 was out, and like once a week, or I think it was every other week for a short period of time, we had like a bunch of people over and had like a small little Smash event in Frazier's house, and there was this one kid that went there who just smelled horrible.
Yep,
horrible. Like, he just always smelled horrible. It didn't matter if anybody told him. Whenever he went to anything, whether it be Smash or Yu-Gi-Oh, like, my man, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm used to Yu-Gi-Oh players being, I guess not even just Yu-Gi-Oh players. Honestly,
it's anytime you have because here's something that pisses me off, because I play Smash, and in the FGC the joke is like Smash players don't take baths and Smash players smell.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, all right? If you get I've been to a bunch of different conventions or events.
That's what that's what I was going to say.
If you have a large group of people, the amount of body heat, people together, sweat, somebody is going to not take the right shower.
Yep.
Also nerds or people like a lot of them tend to be fat or decent. Like, there's more fat nerds than fat football players. And so my point is that
I'm always wondering how we got here.
What I'm saying is that I don't get mad if you're a little big and you smell a little bit, because I understand it's difficult, man. Look, my showers take like 45 minutes.
Holy shit.
I take like 45 minutes in the shower because I'm like trying to make sure I'm all completely clean, everything's clean, blah, blah, blah. Dude, if I was fat, my showers would take like an hour and a half. At some point, I'd say, fuck it. Like, some parts of me don't get washed today.
Yeah, no, it's definitely I want to say it's almost like a nerd culture issue, hygiene in general. And you hear all the time about people smelling and not washing, and you need to take care of yourself, but we don't have to get into that right now. This is Attack on Titan episode 15. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We are going to get the fuck out of here. Very, very tired at this point.
Y'all stink.
Not y'all stink. I do hope you guys enjoyed this. Also, if you want to support the podcast, we have a Patreon, IMNerd Podcast. You can find us on there. But yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think. And also check out our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, all that shit that the content creators typically say, that whole thing. Anyways, peace.
Goodbye, Gay Bowser.
Before we end this episode, I just want to give a quick shout out to our patrons over at Patreon at the highest tier. We have Xavier, Quest, Nate, Austin, and Connie. And we also have Garen in the party member tier. Thank you guys so much for your support. We really appreciate it.